All right, welcome to the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show. A little draft video today on one of my favorites. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're open 7 days a week in Corte Madera from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And they are open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Pig and a Pickle. Go check it out. Say hi to Damon and say hi to Mary and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. All right. Marte Mapu, man, I've been waiting to do this video for weeks. Marte Mapu is one of my favorite players in the draft, the Sac State linebacker. And Chris Biederman of the Sacramento Bee is reporting that the Niners are meeting with Marte Mapu. And Mapu is a special player, man. 6'2", 217-pound, hybrid player, linebacker, safety. He could be elite in the right system. He's very scheme versatile, but this guy's just a versatile player, and he's always been a versatile player. He played quarterback, wide receiver, linebacker, safety, and cornerback at Hawthorne High School. Was a 6-year senior this year at Sac State, and just an explosive, hard hitter. And he really stood out to the NFL scouts at the Senior Bowl because he plays the game on time. And that's really it. We're talking about the Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year this year. He had 76 tackles, 6.5 on the other side of the line of scrimmage, 2 picks. He had a sack. He had a blocked kick. I mean, this guy does it all. AP first team All-American. Just a long, rangy, physical, tone-setting defender. And, they used him as a nickel safety. He's really good in the nickel. I mean, that's the one thing about the NFL right now. The nickel and the dime, you're playing that 75% of the time. You're mostly in the nickel, and this guy as a nickel safety is really, really good, at least at the collegiate level. Now, at the NFL level, you may want to compensate for his, in his lack of speed. It's more of a passing game. There's more elite athletes. But I think he could be a stacked backer. I think he could be a stacked inside backer. Now, he's not going to be great taking on guards and offensive linemen. You want to keep him away from big bodies, but man, this guy's a good player. This guy's a good player. He really is. He can play some single high. At least he did at Sac State. And he's just, what I really like about him is that at the next level, at the NFL level, this guy just guarantees to be excellent in coverage underneath. I mean, this guy can really play pass coverage. And what I love about him is he's got elite closing speed, that elite burst to close on the football. And then the great ones all have this. They break down well consistently. So think about a player like this guy. This guy's smart, instinctive. He plays fast. He's got elite speed on the field. And then he breaks down in space pretty consistently, even against athletic players. Now, you can juke him with if you've got that super stop and start, he can be juked, but he's a lot like a Talanoa Hufanga. He's just got a tremendous feel for the game of football. And when you're watching him, you're like, wow, this is like a coach on the field. Super high IQ player. This is a guy who pre-snap recognizes what he sees in route concepts. He does his film work. He does his study. He's a very smart football player. And in pass coverage, it really stands out. Now, you can play him in man. You can play him in zone. He's got great awareness, I think, in zone coverages. Great anticipation of what the team is trying to get accomplished. And he's a versatile defender. I mean, this guy wins against tight ends. And this guy wins against slot wide receivers a lot. And the ball skills are tremendous. I mean, he had 7 interceptions in 41 career games at Sac State. This guy is going to make plays on the football. Some guys do, some guys don't, and some guys get close. This guy's going to make plays on the football. I mean, he makes plays on the ball in the air consistently. So, I mean, he's a hybrid player, but man, I watched him a couple times this year. 9 tackles and a pass breakup against Montana when they played this year on national TV, against Colorado State there in Fort Collins. 7 tackles, 2 for a loss, had a big sack. Sac State won that game against Colorado State. Now, I'm a Sac State guy, and I went to Sac State, so I mean, full disclosure on this one. I don't know if I can be fully unbiased when it comes to Marte Mapu. But this guy, to me, could be your answer to Travis Kelsey. This is the guy that could be your answer in a big playoff game to Dallas Goddard. He's a hell of a football player. I mean, I'd love to have this guy playing for me. Now, I thought he was going to miss a good portion of the year with the torn pec, which he hurt going into the draft during the workouts. But from what I'm reading from Biederman, what I'm reading on 49er Web Zone, they're saying he's going to be ready for camp. So he's going to go from a torn pec to ready for camp. Maybe it wasn't torn. Maybe it was just a bad strain, or maybe he's not going to be ready for camp, and they're just optimistic. But that has to be checked out. But this kid is the real deal. He checks all the boxes. He graduated already with a degree in sociology. He's pursuing a second degree in kinesiology. I mean, this guy's special, man. Really, really special. And if you watch him, his athleticism stands out on film. I've heard people compare him to Jeremy Chin from Carolina. Jeremy Chin's badass. I mean, Jeremy Chin is a phenomenal football player. So I'd be very happy with that comparison. I love this player, and I hope the 49ers grab him. Now, the Niners have a bunch of picks in day 3. I believe they got 2 or 3 picks in the 5th, and I think they got 2 or 3 in the 7th. They have a 6th. Um, when I'm looking at the draft in some of those mid rounds, and like, especially with the Niners having 3 picks all grouped together, if you could trade back a few spots in that 3rd round with one of those picks that you have there, a 99, 101, 102, those compensatory selections the Niners have, they could trade back a little bit and pick up a couple extra later day 3 picks, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. I would do that. I would make that trade. And when I made that trade, I'm thinking of Marte Mapu. That's the guy I'm thinking of, because this guy could be a special guy on your football team. Think a combination of a little bit more physicality than Hafanga, but with all the instincts. I mean, if there was one thing, if you said, Krug, sum them up quickly for me, I don't have time to listen to this whole thing. All right. I'll say, screw you. But then I would say, you know what? This guy plays the game on time. The way Afonga plays on time, and then I don't know what Afonga ran. It wasn't good, in the 40. But he seems to always be there when the ball's right there in the air. He's always making a play on the ball. And you notice that he's rarely there early. You don't see him piling up a bunch of PI calls, and he's rarely out of position and not there or out or there late. He plays the game on time. The guys who really see it, the guys who have feel, play the game on time. And it matters at quarterback, and it matters when you're playing coverage in the NFL against athletes. You have to show up on time. It's not like, one of us, or we're bad at our job. Hey, we just get there a little bit early. That's not how it works in the NFL. You got to play on time. You can't get there early and you can't get there late. And it's all about film study and desire and want to and attitude and toughness. And this guy's got it all. This guy's got it all. Now, there are some weaknesses. The one weakness that I see is you can't play this guy as a stack backer on 1st and 2nd down. Again, he's not going to take Fred Warner's job. He's not going to take Dre Greenlaw's job. He's a hybrid player. But guess what? The NFL is a hybrid league. And this hybrid player, this 210 to 230 pound player that can move in coverage with awareness and make tackles and break down, consistently, and play with awareness in the zone. These guys are worth their weight in gold. I mean, in some ways, this guy is more important than your strong side backer who only is not even on the field most of the time on the money down in the NFL, 3rd down. And now you're seeing teams go to the sub package and they're putting extra, the big nickel and all kind. This guy could be a big nickel player. I think he's got the coverage ability of a safety, but he's got the thump of a linebacker. So Jeremy Chin might be a good comp. And I'll say this: if I'm John Lynch, if anybody sees John Lynch, if anybody could send this to John Lynch and say, John, Larry Krueger loves Marte Mapu. Could you trade back, get a couple extra picks, and find a way to get Marte Mapu on the 49ers? I want to see this guy in Santa Clara in July. Can you get that done for me, John? Anyway, can you tell I like the player? Marte Mapu plays the game on time. He's not like me or you. He's not late. He's not early. He is on time. All right. Hope you enjoyed our our draft video on Marte Mapu. I'm gonna go get something to drink. No, but thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Corte Madera. Open 7 days a week. If you love barbecue, you'll love Pig and a Pickle. They're also in Emeryville Wednesday through Sunday inside the Emeryville Public Marketplace. And thanks for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.